Get up, girl, Martha said. You eat and give nothing. I kept quiet and held my shawl tight. Caleb laughed. She limps and slows us. I can work, I said. Please let me try. Martha waved me off. You had years. You failed. I can fetch water, I said. I can sew, Caleb snorted. You drop buckets. You ruin cloth. I try, I said. I try every day. Trying does not pay, Martha said. Coins do. Old Tom waited by the gate with a cart. He smelled of smoke and stale ale. Martha counted coins and did not look up. Half now, Tom said. Half when I leave. Caleb scratched his neck. She's not worth that. Silence, Martha hissed. A deal is a deal, I whispered. Am I a deal then? No, Martha said. You are a burden. Caleb shoved a bundle into my arms. Take your rags, he said. Take your shame. I am family, I said. I belong here. You ate my bread, Martha said. You pay now. Tom tied my wrists with rough rope. I can walk, I said. I will not run. It is the rule, he said. Do not cry. I will not cry, I said. I am done. He lifted me into the cart. The rope bit my skin like winter wire. Martha pocketed the coins with a tight mouth. Caleb spat near my shoe and grinned. I hope you choke on money, I said. The wheels turned. The yard blurred behind us. Tom whistled and did not speak. Where are we going? I asked at last. Away, he said. Work for your keep. What work? I asked. My voice shook. He laughed. Workmen like quiet work. My body is not for sale, I said. You were sold, he said. Paper was signed. I am a person, I said. I have worth. Worth is money, he said. You cost little. Clouds stacked like walls over the ridge. The road climbed toward dark pines and wind. Do you have family? I asked him. None who claim me, he said. Lucky me. Family should protect, I said. Mine did not. Family takes, he said. Same as wolves. A wheel struck a stone and we lurched. I hit the plank and tasted blood. Hold on, he said. Road gets worse. How much did they take? I asked. Enough, he said. Enough to forget you. I closed my eyes and saw our yard. I saw the well and the split rope. I had a home, I said quietly. You had a roof, Tom said. Different thing. Snow began as dust, then fell heavy. Tom cursed and beat the horse. We stop soon, he said. There is a shed. Please untie me, I said. I am numb. He cut the rope and watched my hands. Do not run, he said. You will freeze. I will not run, I said. I cannot. We reached a fork in the road. The right wheel cracked and sagged. Tom swore, jumped down, and kicked the rim. Stay put, he said. I will mend it. I slid down slow, holding the edge. The wind howled and hit like stones. I can help, I said. Hand me tools. Back up, he said. You only slow me. I watched the dark trees and waited. A shape moved between trunks and vanished. Do you see that? I asked him. See what? He said without looking up. Eyes, I said. I saw eyes there. Wolves, he muttered. They smell the horse. He turned his back and bent to work. My breath made ghosts in the cold air. I thought of Martha's hand on coins. I thought of Caleb's grin and spit. I am not useless, I told the wind. The wheel slipped from Tom's hands and rolled. He chased it, cursing into the pines. Stay, he shouted. Do not move, girl. He vanished behind a curtain of snow. The horse snorted and stamped in fear. The lantern hissed and went dark. Night closed around me like wet cloth. Tom, I called. Come back now. Only the wind and the horse replied. I hugged my shawl and faced the trees. Worth is not money, I told myself. My worth is breath, work, and will. A crack split the night like a whip. The cart slid into the ditch. The horse tore free and thundered downhill. The harness snapped. Tom! I shouted. I am here. No answer came. Only the wolves howled. Snow buried my feet past the ankles. I climbed the bank and looked for light. Nothing shone. The world was iron and white. I stood alone with the ruined cart. Cold fear bit into my hands. Tom was gone. The road was empty. I knew then I was abandoned. The wagon stopped near the woods. The merchant looked at me and smiled in a way that made my skin crawl. Get down, he said. I can't walk fast, I whispered. Then crawl, he spat. I stepped down into the mud. My bad leg hurt. He grabbed my arm. You think you're better than me? He growled. Let me go, I said, trying to pull free. He laughed. Who would want you? Even your own family sold you, I froze. My heart pounded. The air smelled like wet trees and fear. He pushed me toward a fallen log. You owe me, girl. I paid for you, I screamed, but no one came. The wind carried my voice away. Then wolves howled. One, then many. The merchant turned, his face pale. Damn beasts, their cries came closer. My breath shook. He lifted a small pistol. Stay still, he said. Another sound cut through the storm, the crack of a rifle. The merchant shouted and dropped his gun. Out of the dark trees came a tall man in a fur-lined coat, rifle steady, eyes sharp. He said nothing at first. The wolves stopped howling, as if even they listened. The merchant raised his hands. I didn't mean harm. Leave, the man said. His voice was low, hard. Who are you? The merchant stammered. Doesn't matter. You have 10 seconds. The merchant backed away, tripping over roots. Then he ran, leaving the wagon behind. The man walked to me. You hurt? I nodded. My leg. He looked at it once, then picked me up like I weighed nothing. Put me down, I said weakly. He said, You want to freeze here? I stared at his face. Rough skin, a scar near his chin. His coat smelled like smoke and pine. He carried me through the woods. The night was thick, silent now. Snow fell in soft flakes. Who are you? I asked. Ethan, he said. Where are we going? My cabin. I tried to keep my eyes open, but my body shook too much. He spoke again, voice quiet. You shouldn't be out here alone. I didn't choose this, I muttered. He didn't answer. We reached a small cabin. Smoke rose from a chimney. He kicked the door open and laid me by the fire. Sit up, he said. I can't. Then stay down. He left for a moment and came back with a blanket. I didn't thank him. He poured water into a tin cup and handed it to me. Drink, I sipped, my hands trembling. He crouched near the fire, eyes on the flames. Finally, he said, You talk? I said, Not to strangers. He gave a short nod. Good, I like quiet. We stayed silent for a long time. The only sound was the fire cracking. I watched him from the floor. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept in days. There was something heavy in his eyes, something that wasn't anger, but pain. My body hurt, but my heart hurt more. I didn't trust him, yet I didn't fear him either. I whispered, Why help me? He said, Didn't plan to. But you looked half dead. I almost smiled. You're honest, he shrugged. Lies take energy. When I woke later, he was still there, sitting near the door, rifle across his knees. Outside, the wolves howled again, far away this time. I turned toward the fire and closed my eyes. For the first time since being sold, I didn't feel cold. But I still didn't feel safe. I told myself, Don't trust him. Don't trust anyone. Yet a small voice inside whispered back, He saved you. I fell asleep fighting that thought. When I woke, I was under a rough wool blanket. The smell of pine and smoke filled my nose. I tried to sit up, but pain shot through my leg. Stay still, the man said. His voice was low like the wind through trees. Where am I? I asked. My cabin, he said. You were half dead in the snow. I looked around. The room was small, made of old wood. Firelight danced on the walls. A rifle leaned near the door. Who are you? I whispered. Ethan, he said. You? Lena. He nodded once, then went to stir a pot. Eat, he said, handing me a bowl of soup. I held it close. Thank you. Don't thank me, he said. Heal fast and leave. His words cut sharp, but his eyes didn't match his tone. They carried something tired, something broken. I took a small sip. It was hot and salty. Why did you help me? He shrugged. Habit. Hard to ignore dying people. I stared at the fire. Maybe I was meant to die. He looked up. Don't say that. Why not? I asked softly. No one would care. He poked the fire with a stick. Sparks rose. You care, he said. You're still breathing. We fell quiet. The only sound was the crack of the fire and wind outside. Later he laid an extra blanket near me. The wolves don't come close when it's warm, he said. Are you always alone? I asked. Yes. Why? Because people lie, he said simply. I wanted to ask more, but his tone told me not to. For 2 days, I slept and healed. Each morning he chopped wood. Each night we sat in silence. He didn't talk much, but he never looked away when I spoke. One evening, I limped to the wall and saw a small picture frame covered in dust. A woman smiled from it, Kind eyes, soft face. She's beautiful, I said. He froze. She was my wife. Was? He nodded. Gone now. I looked at him, but he turned away. His jaw tightened, his hands shaking slightly. I'm sorry, I said. Don't be, he muttered. You didn't take her. We sat by the fire after that, not speaking. The air felt heavy but calm. I broke the silence. You miss her, every day, he said. But missing doesn't change anything. I looked at the flames. You sound like me. How so? I lost my family too, I said. But they didn't die. They sold me. His eyes darkened. Sold you? Yes, said I was useless, bad luck. A curse, he leaned back, jaw tight again. People can be cruel when they're scared. I nodded slowly. I used to believe them. You shouldn't, he said. You're still alive. That means you matter, I smiled weakly. You talk like a preacher. He chuckled once. No, just someone who learned too late. The fire burned low. Shadows climbed the walls. Do you ever go to town? I asked. Sometimes, he said. For salt and bullets. That's enough. Don't you get lonely? He looked into the flames. Lonely is safer than sorry. His words stayed with me long after he went to bed. I touched the scar on my leg, still swollen but clean. The heat of the fire warmed my hand. That night I dreamed of faces. My mother's cold eyes, Caleb's smirk, the man who bought me. I woke with tears on my cheeks. Ethan was already by the fire, boiling water. Bad dream? Yes. Want to talk? No. Good, he said. Talking makes it worse sometimes. I laughed a little. You sound like someone who tried. He didn't answer. Days passed. My leg grew stronger. I started to sweep the cabin, trying to repay his care. You don't have to, he said. I want to, I replied. I can't just sit, he sighed. Do what you need. I found a broken chair near the window and started fixing it. He watched in silence. You're stubborn, he said. So are you. He smiled for the first time. Fair. The wind howled outside, shaking the walls. Will the storm last long? I asked. Maybe a week. Then you're stuck with me. He laughed softly. Looks like it. That night, when he went to bed, I sat by the fire again. The flames whispered like voices. I stared at the woman's picture and whispered, He still keeps you close. I wondered if anyone kept me that way, in memory, in kindness, even in pain. The fire cracked again. For the first time in years, I felt safe. Not because the world changed, but because someone stayed. I was sweeping near the fire when I saw something fall from the old shelf. A small wooden box hit the floor and broke open. Inside were letters tied with a red ribbon. I touched the paper. It felt dry, almost like dust. The name Ruth was written on everyone. I sat by the fire and read the first line. My dear Ethan. My breath stopped. I knew I shouldn't read more, but I did. The words were soft but heavy, about war, pain, and waiting. She wrote of a man who came home broken and of love that died in silence, I whispered. So she was real. The door opened. I jumped. Ethan stood there, coat wet from snow, eyes cold. What are you doing? He asked. I found these, I said, holding up the letters. They were under the shelf. He froze, boots still dripping. Put them back. I just wanted to understand. There's nothing to understand, he said. Yes, there is, I whispered. You still love her. He didn't move for a long moment. Then he said, You still hate yourself. His voice was low but sharp. The words hit me like a slap. I stared at the letters, not him. That's not true, I said weakly. He dropped his bag on the table. You don't eat enough. You don't sleep. You walk like you're sorry for being alive. Why? Because maybe I am, I said. He sighed and rubbed his face. You didn't deserve what they did to you, Lena. I wasn't worth keeping, I said. He looked at me, firelight cutting across his face. You think worth comes from someone else? It doesn't. Then why do you still keep her letters? He walked to the fire and sat down. Because I was a coward. I left her when she needed me most. She died waiting. Every time I burn wood here, I think of her face. The flames cracked, sending sparks into the air. I asked, Why did you save me then? He didn't look at me. Maybe I wanted one more chance to do something right. We sat in silence. Outside, snow fell like ashes. I folded the letters and placed them back inside the box. My hands shook. You can keep them, I said softly. She was part of you. He stared at the fire. And what about you, Lena? What's part of you? I thought of my stepmother, her words like knives. I thought of the night they sold me. Pain, I said. That's all I know. He leaned back, eyes tired. Then maybe it's time you learn something else. What can I learn here? He smiled faintly. How to start again. I looked at his hands, rough, scarred, honest. For the first time I wanted to believe him. Do you ever forgive yourself? I asked. Not yet, he said. But you will before I do. The fire burned lower, warm against the cold night. I watched the letters glow orange in the light. They looked like small lives trying not to die. I whispered, I'm sorry for reading them. He said, I'm not. Maybe it's time someone else saw my shame. I didn't answer. I only listened to the wind beating on the walls. The cabin felt small but alive. After a long time, he stood. Go rest. Tomorrow we fix the fence. I nodded. My legs were weak, but my chest felt lighter. As I reached the door to my room, he said quietly, Good night, Lena. I turned back. Good night, Ethan. When I lay down, the storm outside grew louder. I closed my eyes but couldn't sleep. His words echoed inside me. You still hate yourself. He was right. I did. But something inside me wanted to stop. That night, I cried for the woman he lost, for the man he became, and for the girl I still was. The tears fell slow like snow melting over fire. For the first time, I didn't hide the sound. Maybe he heard me. Maybe he didn't, but I knew he understood. The snow started to melt that morning. I opened the cabin door and felt the cold wind brush my face. My legs still hurt, but I wanted to walk. Ethan watched from the steps. You sure you can do that? He asked. I have to try, I said. I'm tired of sitting. He handed me a stick he carved last night. Use this. Strong wood, I smiled weakly. Thank you. I'll try not to break it, he chuckled. Break it if you must. Just don't break yourself. The path outside was soft with slush. Each step felt like fire in my leg, but I didn't stop. The air smelled of pine and wet earth. Birds sang somewhere above. For the first time in months, I felt alive. Ethan walked behind me, slow and careful. You walk better today, he said. I feel lighter, I said. Maybe the pain is finally leaving. He nodded. Pain never leaves. It just learns to stay quiet. We stopped near the edge of the hill. Smoke rose from the forest trail. Ethan's eyes narrowed. Someone's coming, he said. A rider appeared on a brown horse, face hidden under a hat. My chest tightened when I saw the scar on his chin. I knew that scar. Caleb, I whispered. He grinned as he saw me. Well, look at that. The lame girl can walk. Ethan stepped closer to me. You know him? He's my stepbrother, I said quietly. He's trouble. Caleb dismounted and threw his coat back. Didn't think I'd find you this far up the mountain, he said. You got lucky, huh? Living good with this man. Ethan's voice was calm. Say what you came to say. Caleb laughed. I came for what's mine. I'm not yours, I said. My voice shook, but I didn't step back. He smirked. You think you can walk away after what our family paid? Martha said you ran with a man. That means you owe us money. I owe you nothing, I said. You sold me? Ethan's jaw tightened. You heard her, he said. Caleb sneered. Stay out of this, old man. Ethan took one step forward. I'm not old. And she's no one's property. The air between them grew heavy. Caleb's hand went to his belt. For a second, I thought he might pull a knife. Don't, Ethan warned. His tone was low, dangerous. Caleb froze. His smile faded. You think you scare me? Ethan said, You should be scared of what you became. Caleb laughed again, fake and bitter. You think this mountain makes you strong? Wait till I tell the sheriff you're keeping a woman that ain't yours, I said. Tell him. Tell everyone what you did to me. He looked at me like I was nothing. No one will care, Lena. They never did. I took one slow step forward. My cane pressed deep into the mud. Maybe not then, I said, but I care now. Caleb's eyes narrowed. You got a mouth on you now. I learned it here, I said. From people who didn't sell me. Ethan stood beside me. You should leave. Caleb spat near his boots. You'll regret this. Ethan didn't move. Maybe. But you'll regret more if you stay. For a long second, the only sound was wind through the trees. Caleb finally turned to his horse. "You'll see me again," he said. "Maybe," Ethan said. "But next time, come as a man, not a thief." Caleb climbed up and rode off, mud spraying from the hooves. I stood there shaking, the cold air cutting through my coat. Ethan touched my shoulder. "You did good." "I don't feel good," I whispered. He looked at me. "Courage doesn't feel good. It just feels real." I looked down at my stick. It had cracked from my grip. The wood split down the middle. "It broke," I said. "Then you'll walk without it next time," he said softly. We went back to the cabin. The sky had turned gray, snow starting again. I placed the broken stick by the fire. The smell of pine filled the room. Ethan poured water into a tin cup. "He'll come back," he said. "I know," I said. "But so will I." He looked at me for a long moment. "You're not the same girl I found that night." "I hope not," I said. "I'm tired of being her." He smiled faintly. "Good. Because the woman standing here isn't useless." His words hit deep, warming something inside me. I wanted to believe him. I almost did. Outside, the wind howled again, carrying echoes of old ghosts. I knew Caleb would return, and so would my fear. But this time I had fire, breath, and a name that meant something. Mine. The night was cold, but the air burned. I smelled smoke before I saw the fire. The cabin wall glowed red like blood. "Ethan!" I shouted. He ran from the shed, gun in hand. "Stay inside!" he yelled. "No," I said. "They're here for me." Through the window I saw them, Caleb and the merchant, both on horseback. Flames danced on their faces. Caleb laughed. "You think you can hide her forever?" Ethan raised his rifle. "Leave now," the merchant grinned. "She's mine. I paid once and I'll take her again." My legs shook, but anger pushed me forward. "You sold me like a thing," I shouted from the doorway. Caleb sneered. "You were useless, Lena. Still are." That word hit harder than the fire. Ethan stepped between us. "Say it again, and you'll eat the dirt you stand on." The merchant lifted his gun. "Move, old man!" The gun fired first, so loud the world went silent. Ethan stumbled back, blood blooming on his coat. "Ethan!" I screamed. He fell to one knee, breathing hard. "Go," he whispered. "I won't leave you." The flames roared higher, eating the cabin. Heat burned my skin. I grabbed his arm. "We need to move." He tried to stand, but his leg gave out. "I'll cover you." "No," I said again, tears stinging. "I'm not weak anymore." The merchant laughed. "Look at her, the broken girl trying to be a hero." He aimed at me. My hands shook, but I picked up Ethan's rifle. Caleb shouted, "She won't shoot. She never had the guts." My heart pounded. Every word they'd ever said about me, the hate, the shame, burned inside my chest. Ethan's voice was soft behind me. "Don't let them call you useless again." I pulled the trigger. The shot echoed through the woods. The merchant fell, his gun dropping into the snow. Caleb froze, mouth open. "You killed him." I stared down the sights again. "You should leave before I remember how much I hate you." He turned his horse and ran. I watched until the night swallowed him. Smoke filled my lungs. I coughed and dragged Ethan toward the river behind the cabin. The ground was rough, my leg heavy, but I didn't stop. The cabin cracked and fell in fire. Ethan groaned. "You did it." I held his hand tight. "We did it," he smiled weakly. "You were never useless." I wanted to believe him. We reached the riverbank, cold and wet. I pressed cloth to his wound, but blood kept coming. "Stay awake," I said. He opened his eyes, barely. "If I don't—" "You tell the world who you are." "I will," I whispered. "I promise." He looked at me one last time. "Then I can rest." The wind carried sparks across the dark sky. I held him until dawn, my fingers numb, my eyes dry. The cabin was gone, just ash and silence. When the first light touched the snow, I stood alone. The gun felt heavy in my hand, but I didn't drop it. It wasn't fear anymore. It was memory. I looked toward the mountain peak. "They'll never own me again," I said to the wind. The wind didn't answer, but it carried his voice inside my head. "You were never useless," and for the first time, I almost believed it. The smell of smoke still sat in my hair. I sat by Ethan's bed, holding his rough hand. His breathing was weak but steady. "Don't try to talk," I whispered. "You did enough." He smiled a little. You did the rest, he said. Outside I heard horses and boots. The door opened hard. Sheriff Carter, a voice said. Anyone alive here? I am, I said. And so is he. The sheriff looked around the burned cabin. What happened? They came for me, I said. My family. They tried to kill us. Your family? He asked. My stepmother and stepbrother, I said. They sold me first, then they came to finish it. He frowned. Names? Martha and Caleb Wren, he wrote fast. And the dead man outside? The merchant who bought me, I said. He fired first. I fired back. The sheriff looked at me, not angry. You killed to live, I nodded. Yes. He walked to Ethan's bed. You her husband? Ethan shook his head. Her rescuer. Then she owes you her life, the sheriff said. Ethan smiled weakly. No, she earned it herself. I looked down, tears rising. I never thought I could fight, I said softly. I thought I was only trouble. Ethan squeezed my fingers. You found your worth. The sheriff cleared his throat. I'll take your statement in town. You can rest tonight. I'll come now, I said. If I wait, fear will grow again. Ethan tried to rise. Stay, I told him. I'm not dying yet, he said, voice rough. You better not, I said with a smile. We rode down the mountain under gray skies. My leg hurt, but I didn't care. The sheriff kept quiet until we reached the small jailhouse. Inside, the lamp smoked on the desk. Sit, he said. Tell me from the start, so I did. Every word came slow but clear. The sail, the forest, the fire. He wrote everything. When I stopped, he leaned back. You know this means trial, he said. I know. You can stay silent and walk free, he added. I met his eyes. If I stay silent, they win again. He nodded once. You got courage, Miss Wren. I'm not Wren, I said quietly. He blinked. Then what name do you want on the paper? I looked at the flame. Lena Hart, I said. I want my own. He smiled a little. Hart fits you. Big heart for a small woman. I laughed for the first time in days. Maybe too big. He stood and tipped his hat. Tomorrow morning we'll arrest them. You'll speak in court. You ready for that? I was born ready, I said, even if I wasn't. Night came fast. The cell door clanged behind him as he left me to rest on the cot. I couldn't sleep. My hands shook. I thought of Ethan, lying under the smell of burned pine. In my head, I heard Martha's voice. Useless girl, weak thing. I whispered into the dark. Not anymore. Next morning, the wagon rolled into town square. The sheriff led Martha and Caleb in chains. Caleb looked at me like I was dirt. You think they'll believe you? He said. I don't need them to, I answered. I believe me, the sheriff stepped forward. Quiet. The judge will hear her first. Martha spat near my feet. You ruined us. I looked straight at her. You sold me. I'm just collecting my price, the crowd gasped. I felt no fear now, only heat, like fire but clean. Caleb tried to speak again, but the sheriff shoved him back. Miss Hart, the judge said. Do you want to testify? Yes, I said, my voice strong. I was called useless. I was sold, but I lived, and I'll never stay silent again, the judge nodded slowly. That's enough for me. The hammer hit wood. Martha cried. Caleb cursed. For the first time, I didn't look away. Later, outside the courthouse, the sheriff walked beside me. Feels different, doesn't it? He asked. Yes, I said. Feels like my name finally means something. He smiled. You heading back up the mountain? I have to, I said. Someone's waiting. He tipped his hat again. Good luck, Miss Hart. The road was long and cold, but my steps were steady. I whispered Ethan's words in my mind. You found your worth. And for once I truly believed it. Ethan sat by the window that morning, sunlight on his face. He looked pale, weaker than before. I brought him warm tea and said, You need to drink this. He smiled a little. You sound like Ruth. Your wife? I asked softly. He nodded. She used to scold me the same way. I sat beside him, holding the cup. You miss her? Every day, he said. But I see a part of her in you. I looked down, shy. I'm not her, Ethan. I know, he whispered. But you brought the sound of life back into this cabin. For a long time, we said nothing. Only the fire cracked. I felt his quiet pain like it was my own. Then he reached for a small wooden box on the table. His hand shook. There's something I need to give you, he said. What is it? I asked. He opened the box and handed me a folded letter. "Ruth's last letter," he said. I never showed it to anyone. But I think she meant these words for both of us. I hesitated. "Are you sure?" He nodded. "Read it out loud, please." I unfolded the paper carefully. The writing was soft and faded. My voice trembled as I read. "Ethan, if love ever finds you again, let it. Don't close your heart. You deserve peace, and so does she." I stopped. Tears blurred the ink. Ethan closed his eyes. "She always knew more than I did," he murmured. I whispered. "She was kind." He smiled weakly. "So are you." My chest hurt. "Don't say that." "You'll be fine," he shook his head. "You and I both know the truth." I wanted to argue, but my throat closed. The room felt smaller, the air heavier. He reached for my hand. "Lena," he said softly, "you gave me reason to stay alive long enough to make peace." I cried quietly. "You saved me first," he chuckled weakly. "Maybe we saved each other." Hours passed. The light turned gold, then dim. I read the letter again and again, afraid of silence. When I looked up, Ethan was watching the fire. His voice was faint. "You ever think about what comes next?" "I try not to," I said. "It hurts less that way." He smiled sadly. "You're stronger than you think." "Ethan," I said, holding his hand tighter, "please stay with me." "I will," he said. "But if I go, promise me something." "What?" "Promise me you'll keep walking. Promise you'll never let anyone call you useless again." "I promise," I whispered. He closed his eyes for a moment. "Good." We sat there until the fire burned low. I kept my hand on his. His breathing grew slow. The next morning I woke to silence. The tea was cold. The fire was out. Ethan sat still in his chair, head resting against the window frame. The light touched his face gently, like the mountain itself was saying goodbye. I touched his shoulder. "Ethan?" No answer. I whispered again, "Ethan, please." But he was gone. My chest broke open. I cried until I could not breathe. Then I saw the letter on the table, folded again, his name beside it, and my name written under it in shaky handwriting. It said, "She was right, Ruth. I found love again." I held it to my chest. "You already did," I whispered through tears. The next day I dug a grave under the tall pine behind the cabin. The ground was cold but soft with spring melt. I laid Ruth's photo beside him. For a long time I just sat there, hearing the wind through the branches. I said, "You told me to keep walking." "I will." A soft breeze touched my face. I looked up at the mountains. The snow was melting. The river below was alive again. I stood, wiping the dirt from my hands. "Goodbye, Ethan," I said. "You showed me my worth." When I walked away, the letter was still in my pocket, warm from my hand. Like his promise stayed with me. The bell rang, and I heard small feet on the wooden floor. "Miss Lena, story time?" The girls cried. I smiled. "Only if you read your lesson first." Little Nora sat near me, eyes bright. "Why you walk slow?" she asked. I touched my leg and said, "Because life taught me that slow is fine." She frowned. "Did it hurt?" "Long ago," I said softly. "But pain is not forever," the girls whispered together. "Who helped you?" one asked. I looked outside. The mountains were white with morning snow. "A man once helped me," I said. "He saved me when I thought I was gone. Was he kind?" Nora asked. I nodded. He was rough and quiet, but his heart was big. "Where is he now?" Another girl said. I looked at the hills. "He lives in the wind," I whispered. "He taught me to be brave, to work, to trust myself." They listened in silence. "Did he love you?" Nora said. I smiled. "Yes, in his own way. He showed me my worth." The girls drew hearts on the dusty desk. I laughed. "No more talk. Time for writing." After class, I walked outside alone. The air was cold, the sky bright. I heard wind move through the pines like a soft voice. "You found your worth, Lena." I stopped and closed my eyes. "I know," I whispered. "Thank you." The world felt quiet and full. My limp no longer felt heavy. My heart felt light, like the snow falling around me. When I looked back, the girls waved from the door. I waved too. "I'm not leaving," I said. "I'm staying," and I meant it. For the first time, I truly belonged.